Hello everyone, this is Angela here, and today I am moving along and talking about the narcissistic personality disorder. And the subject matter of this video is when the narcissist leaves, so do a few other people leave your life. And this particular video is primarily geared toward children of narcissists, as opposed to people who are involved with narcissists. So basically I want to share my story, and you can relate to this. Anybody can relate to this. This is an issue of self-esteem issues with regard to narcissistic abuse. And let me explain that. It's like when you are a child of a narcissist, it's like you feel like you have to earn every bit of love from your parents. It's like you literally, as a scapegoated child, I literally felt like I had to jump through hoops like a freaking circus dog just to get the attention that I so desperately needed from my parents. And it wasn't there. It's like my dad was so preoccupied with killing my mother. Like those two, there was so much fighting and domestic violence and the cops coming and just so much of that going on that it hindered my father from adequately parenting me, as well as my two other siblings. And the way that my father handled things is he just was oblivious to important and serious matters. He pretty much, it was pretty much, let's just pretend that this isn't happening, as I discussed in my last video with regard to sexual abuse. So as a child, you learn how to adapt to your environment. And as an adult, you try your best to have healthy relationships with other people, which basically turn out to be unhealthy. And so a recap of my childhood, because my mother was such a severe hoarder, okay, we were not liked by anyone on our block, okay, on our street. I lived in an urban area of the city of Philadelphia. Still live in Philadelphia to this day, just in a different part of the city. And the area that we lived in, where I grew up in, it's like people couldn't stand my parents. And, it's like because my mother didn't go out and go shopping and buy me clothes and feel that it wasn't her problem. Basically, the fact that my clothing, smelled really bad, and I wore the same pants to school literally for a week straight without being washed or changed. And as a result, I got ridiculed in school. Not only that, I had to come home. Coming home from school, you had to deal with the neighborhood kids, and in the wintertime it was absolutely dreadful because they used to throw snowballs, ice balls, call me retarded, and then coming home and having to deal with my brother. So needless to say that my childhood was not the greatest. And as an adult, you really want the acceptance of other people. And when I got to high school, I had met this girl, and her name was Mary, and her name is Mary. And we were friends for a long time, up until a few years ago when I went no contact with my mother and I started to get psychiatric help. And Mary was basically nothing but a user. And here's why. All throughout like my adult life, because I met her when I was 15 in high school. And she was a kid that pretty much was like a loner, and none of the other girls in school really liked her. And her mother was an alcoholic, her father was deceased. Matter of fact, both of her brothers are alcoholics. And so she had a pretty rough road in life herself. But Mary turned out to be a user, and here's why. Make a long story short. In high school, we used to hang out together until she met this other girl and her family. And then she totally just like dropped me like a hot potato to hang out with her. And then after shit happened with that crowd, then she would come back to me, and then we would start hanging out again. And at the time, it's like I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't take it personally. I just figured that it was a thing where we just drifted apart until we got older. Okay, so to make a long story short, we connected off and on through the years, and in the year 2000, when I moved quite a distance from my parents to the other edge of the city, I found myself living in an apartment complex that was same as where she happened to be living, and it was just a coincidence, and I ended up hooking up with her again. And at that time, she was engaged to get married to this guy, and so they got married, and I was involved in her life, and her brother-in-law ended up dying, and I was the first one to run and bring her a gift, and I was the one that was always treating her when we went out to like a bar or whatever. And but this was like after she left her husband. They were married for a very short time, only a year, and he decides that he wants out. And the reason is irrelevant, it doesn't matter, but he wants out of the marriage, okay? So I turn around and I said, well, since you both want out and there's no children and there's no property to divide, you could do it yourself. And it's like, I'll prepare all the paperwork, and all you have to do is pay the court costs, which were at that time about $350 to get a no-fault divorce. And it was easy, so I did all the work for her. I helped her. I never got a thank you card. Never acknowledged the fact that I took my time, because my boss was going to charge her $1,500 to do that. But because I felt sorry for her, I did it for her for nothing. And the point is, it's like every time there was a situation that came up, it was like I always ran to help her and to do things for her. And so she ended up, after she divorced Jason, okay, and he was another one who never said thank you. He wanted out of the marriage. They both wanted out of the marriage, okay? But I had saved them quite a bit of money and helped them do that divorce, and he never ever gave me a thank you card, or like a gift certificate to a nail salon would have been nice, like a little gift, nothing expensive. I didn't expect anything, but damn, it's like I turn around and do you a favor and go down to the courthouse and file all this shit for you and take my time to do all this for you, and you don't even thank me. But that's the type of people that they were. And, it's like I didn't want any thanks. I still wanted to associate with Mary because I thought that she was my friend. Well, guess what? She wasn't. Because here's what she turned around and did. Over the years, fast forward, it was like she found this other woman to hang out with. Like, she ended up moving to South Jersey, which is really close to Philly. Okay? It's only right across the bridge. As a matter of fact, it's about a 20-minute drive from my house to where she lives. And I would say, oh, why don't you, I would say, well, why don't you come into town? This was before I met my man. Why don't you come into town and we'll get together and at happy hour and we could go to the Palm or one of these nice restaurants and, and socialize. And she's like, you do realize that we both live in another state, don't you? She goes, find yourself some friends, Angela. And, I was quite hurt by that. And another time, around the same time that was going on, and this was back in 2012, like right before I met my man. And she goes, she says, I told her that I was going to a 50th birthday party of one of the attorneys whose wife had a birthday party. And keep in mind that we work with some very violent criminals, and also keep in mind that I went through a very scary event during the Wicked Attraction episode with that guy that hooked up with my mother. And, sometimes it's really hard to get over serious situations, especially when they involve a violent crime that was going to happen to you. So they thought it was really funny to play this joke, Mary and her goofy friend Jane. And they turned around and they were sending me text messages from Jane's cell phone, which I did not have her cell phone number in my phone. And they were saying, ooh, look how good you look. I see you in that black dress, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Because I had talked to Mary earlier in the day, and I told her I was going to attorney's 50th birthday party. And, I told her what I was wearing to the party and stuff like that. And, she played this sick joke on me, and they thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny because I got real upset due to the nature of our clients and what had happened to me in the past. It wasn't funny, okay? Because I felt like somebody was stalking me. And I was quite upset at the party to the point where other people, because I was like, who is this? Who the F is this? Texting me like that. And to the point where one of my coworkers was like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And I kind of ruined the party for me. So that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. And I told her, like, she thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny. You get the point. And then I start realizing that this person did nothing but use me over the years. She never treated me when we went out. It was always the other way around. I helped her with the divorce. They thought it was really funny. She thought it was really funny playing sick jokes on me like that, and a few others, which I don't really feel comfortable talking about right now. And so you get to the point. The final straw was when I finally met my man, and we got into a serious relationship. And Mary always hangs out in this bar in New Jersey, okay? And we were coming back from the shore, and I was like, oh, let's go to the bar and, get some food. And so we go into the bar, and she happened to be there. It was lunchtime. And her friend Jane was all googly-eyed over my man and saying stuff like, oh, you're really cute. Oh, you're really handsome. Like, acting like really goofy. And it made my man kind of uncomfortable. And I really realized after that I don't really like this person. And I just started distancing myself from them, because I felt like I was always there for her, but she wasn't there for me. And not only wasn't she not there for me, she was quite mean to me. And I don't want people in my life like that, because life is difficult enough without having somebody in your life who's going to put you down or play sick jokes, or use you for a gift when there's a party that has to go to, or use you when they got nobody else to associate with, for you to come and associate with it, simply because you're going to buy them drinks or food. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, you know, she used me for whatever she can get off of me, and that's it. And Danny was another one of these people. Danny was the guy that was a borderline, you know, and a narcissist, and he used to exploit people. Okay? Now, Mary was not a narcissist. I will say that honestly. She was not a narcissist. She was an opportunist that basically just used people. And there are people out there that are like that. You know, they will use people that have the people pleaser syndrome. And my advice to everybody out here, don't try to buy somebody's friendship. Don't try to buy somebody's love. And don't give them your time, because they're not worth your time. And before I end this video, okay, I would like to share something with all of you. Just give me a second. I need to pull this up on my email.
You've got mail.
Excuse me for that. Darn it, I should have pulled it up earlier, but I didn't. Hold on, let me get this. Okay, I got an email from her on May the 12th. And I thank everybody for your patience with me. I got an email from Mary on May the 12th after not hearing from her for almost 2 years. Okay, it's been 2 years, no contact. And this is the point, this is the classic example of a user. Okay? So the title of the video is called How's Life? Excuse me, I gotta put my glasses on here. It's called How's Life? Very short. First, she titles it, First, Happy Belated Mother's Day. How are you? I hope all is well. Is everyone healthy and well? Jane says hi. Jade, her niece, is getting so big. Many blessings being sent your way. Now, okay, I'm not a prude, but I find that email to be quite insulting, and here's why. First of all, you don't write a letter and address me as first. I have a name. My name happens to be Angela. And if you're going to address me, please address me by my name. Hello, Angela, or Dear Angela. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just found it to be inappropriate, and I didn't respond to it. I didn't delete it. I just didn't respond to it. And getting back to Danny, as I started to say, real short and sweet about Danny. I was friends with him over the years, you know. I mean, even though we had started dating back in 1996, okay? We were dating. I was never serious with him, but it all falls under the people-pleasing syndrome, okay? And what had happened was, he was a user. He used to exploit me. It's like anything that he could get for nothing, especially on Thanksgiving. Okay, every year on a holiday, because he had no place to go, he and his grandmother used to come to my house. A single mother who was on a fixed income with 2 children. It cost about $300 to buy all the food and cook it for Thanksgiving. Okay? Now, every year he used to come to my house. Never bring a gift. Never bring a bottle of wine or a gift card or something, you know, to give to say thank you for inviting me. Just come and eat my food. Oh, Oh, I see you have a leftover pumpkin pie. Oh, I'll just take that home with the big doggy bag, full of stuff to take all your leftovers. Thank you, and bye-bye. And that's what a user does. But he was a full-blown narcissist. I mean, Mary wasn't a narcissist. She was just a user. She wasn't a narcissist. No, she was not. I know that. But Danny was a flat-out narcissist who had very strong borderline traits because he just would not let it go. He just wouldn't let it go. And, and then what had happened was, the reason why I'm sharing this story is because it took me all these years, going to 42 years old, okay, then going through psychiatric therapy, taking a good look at my life, what had happened to me in my life, and how people take advantage of you because you get the people-pleasing syndrome. And this is how you gravitate towards users and other narcissists. And this is why I encourage people, children who are victims of narcissists, to go through therapy and get help working on your self-esteem, because it is a self-esteem issue. You are meant to feel like garbage. That's what these people make you feel like. They make you feel like garbage. They make you feel inferior. They make you feel like everything is your fault and everything is your obligation. It's your job, your obligation to fix everything. That's the scapegoat's role. Everything is my fault, and it's my job to fix every messed up thing in the family. And after 42 years of narcissistic abuse, I got away from this. And this is what turned me into a healthy adult today, to where I recognize the situation that I'm currently in with my man's ex-wife, and how she's a narcissist, and recognize the traits of a narcissist and distance myself from it. Because it is toxic poison. And you know what I also noticed? It's like if you're a survivor of narcissistic abuse, and you're going to either gravitate towards another narcissist or somebody with a personality disorder, or you're going to gravitate and get into a relationship of another survivor of narcissistic abuse. I kind of noticed that's common, because I've been watching other people's stories and doing a lot of reading. So with that, like, this video is already starting to get long, I am going to stop this video. And I want to thank everybody for your time. Have a great day.